All right. Happy Monday, Elkhart County positive parents. You can see that today I have a guest with me, so I will introduce her in a minute. In the meantime, we are reopening our Share This Video challenge. So for everybody who shares the video publicly so that we can see it, we're going to do a drawing for a $5 Starbucks gift certificate. So share the video, make sure it's a public post so that we can see your name, and then we will do a drawing. So our goal for today is to, as you know, we balance a lot of teen and kid topics on here and try to just provide general parenting support, information, strategies, access to kind of what's happening in the community. And so today we have Breanna Allen, and I will have her introduce herself and her role, and then I'll tell you what we're going to talk about. Hi, Brianna.
Hi, Anna, and thank you. I'm so excited to be here this afternoon to speak to you all, the Positive Parenting group. My name is Breanna Allen. I am the Director of Student Pathways with Horizon Education Alliance. So I do have the pleasure of working with Anna quite frequently, and it's amazing. My background is in higher education, and so have worked in the college setting, both on the private side as well as the public side, for about 5 years before coming over to Horizon Education Alliance to do student pathway work, which is really for young people starting in middle school all the way up to high school through career exploration. I'm also a parent. I have four young girls. They keep me on my toes for sure, but I have a daughter in middle school who is on the brink of turning into a teenager here in just under a month. I have a 10-year-old daughter, a 5-year-old daughter, and a 2-year-old daughter. So I'm always on the go. They're always keeping me busy, but it's a great experience, and I'm excited to share just a little bit about how parents can engage with their students, regardless of what age they are at, in understanding and learning more about careers.
Yeah. So you can see Brianna brings a lot of expertise to this from past things, from current things, from her own experience. So that's why I thought it'd be really good to have her on here and kind of give us a little bit of guidance. So we're going to start with some general kind of parenting sorts of things. So as parents of children and teenagers, a lot of what we're doing is preparing them for life. Everything we're doing is so that they will go on to become independent, responsible, healthy, happy adults. So in terms of what you see in preparing kids for college, careers, life skills, what are some things that parents can do to be helpful, or some ways that parents can support and prepare their children for the future?
Absolutely. So, college and career readiness is a term that throughout your child's educational experience you will probably hear. And so, what that means is, it refers to knowledge and skills and tasks and other talents that are needed to be successful in the post secondary education space. So, that's college, as well as training, which is what children and young adults are able to do to gain the skills to be able to do the job, and that's needed to lead towards gainful employment, so to good high quality careers. And so, when you're thinking about, well, how do I even start that conversation, or what does it look like for me as a parent to kind of help through that process, there's different things that you can do. And the first thing is just getting a good idea of what is your child's interest.
Mhm.
What do you see that they enjoy doing? Is that arts and crafts? Is that cooking? Is that something with their hands? You hear a lot about like hands-on types of jobs. And so just, being able to look out for those things and to have conversations with them. I
Mhm.
think even further, you know, to think about college and um, and doing some research. And so if they
Mhm.
do have passions in these areas, then what college opportunities and or other training opportunities? Because I'll be the first to share that college isn't necessarily for everyone, and that is okay. But as a parent, helping your child kind of understand what their options are when
Mhm.
they're thinking about what a potential career may be.
Mhm. Hmm.
for sure.
So paying attention to your child, kind of getting to know them and their interests and seeing how that might segue into a career, and then paying attention to the opportunities that are available to them and maybe even helping them kind of sort those a little bit. What would you say is a role of a parent? I mean, they're hearing all this stuff at school, and I know from my own, I'm never quite sure whether I should, like, am I being too overbearing if I ask them a lot and do a lot for them, or am I being too hands off if I don't? I want them to be responsible, but I also want to make sure they have the opportunities. Could you speak to that at all?
Yeah, it's an interesting balance to kind of figure out where do I kind of push some of these efforts or
Hmm.
be involved, right, as much as possible.
Hmm.
And I will say it is absolutely fine to be that parent to want to be involved, sometimes overly involved. Communication is so important. And so
Hmm.
the more that you can interact with your child to learn,
Hmm.
again, about their interests and their passions, then that's going to help you understand what you might need to do to
Hmm.
help them along the way. So, if that may be sitting down at the computer and doing some research, right? Or if that means that you are maybe looking up things on the internet yourself and you want to send them to your child because they are on their phone all the time, and encourage them to take a look at it and have a discussion later about what they read, I think that's perfectly fine as well. You want your child to take initiative and to be motivated. So
Hmm.
that's where that balance comes in, and like,
Yeah.
okay, how much do I give, but how much do I put that responsibility back on them? And I think there's ways to have conversations with them on how to show initiative and motivation, and what that means and looks like, and how to apply that to completing tasks right now. So if that's doing the dishes and getting their homework done, and showing up on time to the places that they need to show up to, and how that translates into skills and knowledge that they will need to use, right? When
Yeah.
they're in working, or even when they go to college and your teacher is no longer there
Hmm.
to tell you to do your work. It's something that you have to kind of be responsible and take that initiative for. So again, it's an even balance, but definitely encourage parents to kind of overly be involved by helping with that research and just kind of processing piece
Yeah.
and understanding what it means, but then trying to help your student make connections to why what they're doing in school and out of school, is a great skill to learn as well.
Yeah, a few things occurred to me when you were saying that. One is back in June, I interviewed a teenager about working, like having a full-time job for the first time. And one of the things he said was, help us with things like taxes and forms and filling out papers. He said, that stuff is tough for us. And so that was good to hear just directly from a teenager. We want help with the, like, we might not act like it normally, but we do want help with some of those things. Another thing I heard in what you were saying was just these are things that at every level, when our kids are going to their practice every day or practicing their instrument or spending time, that is preparing them. That at any age, those are skills and disciplines that they'll take into the workplace or
Absolutely.
college. Yeah, that's really interesting. Okay. So you run some programs, I'm probably saying this wrong, um, that really work with teenagers on getting where they want to be college and career wise. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I will be more than happy to share more about our program. It's called Career Wise Elkhart County Modern Youth Apprenticeship. And before we go any further, and there be lots of thoughts on youth apprenticeship, like what is that? I want to share that this is more on a non traditional track of youth apprenticeship, something a little different, which is why the modern is there. Traditionally, when we hear apprenticeship, we think about the trades. So your masons, your construction apprenticeships, electricians,
Mhm.
but the work that we do on the apprenticeship side with modern youth apprenticeship is different. It's more in like business administration or information technology, where students love working on computers, software development, help desk. I'll just add that we're in a time of where everybody has a device, right? And they need fixed. They crash and break down, and we have apprentices right now who are able to help support students in fixing their devices, and they're able to do that through an apprenticeship.
Cool.
Healthcare, manufacturing, a huge industry here in Elkhart County. We have young people who are starting apprenticeships as production technicians that could lead to engineering or welding, AutoCAD, those types of experiences.
Huh.
We're excited to roll out a few more this fall in financial services. So bank telling, you wouldn't necessarily think that there would be apprenticeships in the
No.
financial industry, but there absolutely are. And education, so teachers. We are in need of teachers, and there are lots of students who are in the classroom already who have interest in that or are doing teacher assistant, experiences right now, and that can be elevated to a youth apprenticeship. And so those are just a few modern fields or careers that students can apprentice in. And so what is apprenticeship? It's a
Yeah.
meaningful
What is
experience.
it? Hmm.
What is it? It's a meaningful experience for students where they're going to gain on the job training, on the job learning, on the job skills. It's high paying in the sense that all of our apprentices earn wages. So they are being paid an opportunity to build that financial literacy and build some financial wealth at an early age to kind of understand that. That's an important piece of, growing up as an adult, right?
Right. So they're in school, they are apprenticing where they're getting real world experience, like you're letting a high schooler be a bank teller kind of thing, or a teacher or whatever, and they're getting paid for that. And it will bring them out of high school already kind of a step ahead. Like if you go into manufacturing, you're not starting on the assembly line, you're starting with this experience under your belt. Is that right?
It gives the students a competitive advantage in the workplace upon graduating high school. This program is 3 years, and so it does start with juniors in high school, juniors and seniors in high school. Again, just want to make note that it is a 3 year commitment. Juniors can start and seniors can start, but
Okay.
regardless of where the student starts, it is 3 years that they make to the business as far as a commitment as being that paid employee and earning those wages. Um, what makes it a pretty unique experience is that it's high quality in the sense that, students learn a lot in the classroom, but how much do they learn when they are out, put in that workplace, and have to learn how to engage with adults and to take that initiative, right? And to be motivated, especially in something that they have interest in. And it's rigorous because there's opportunity for potential college credit to be
Oh,
earned in the program, as well as industry certifications. And I'll just give an example. In the IT field, industry certifications are like a big deal, right? And so CompTIA Plus, just as an example for our tech parents out there,
well, who know things?
that's a certification that an apprentice will have the opportunity to earn in this experience. So lots of opportunity. We look at it as a options multiplier. So it's not to just put a student down one path and that's
Yeah.
because we know in our adult life as we progress through, we are exposed to more careers and we have different jobs, right? Like
Yeah.
it varies and that's okay. And this program, by them starting off in one particular position such as a production technician, they have the ability over the 3 years to learn a wide vast of tasks and skills and knowledge and be exposed to the various departments within a manufacturing company. So then that they can determine, ooh, okay, so I did get to be in the welding department for a little bit. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And they're able to, stay there and really grow. And that has an everlasting impact, I think, especially when young people are ready to make that transition to college. by having a pretty clear picture of their career interests early when they make the decision to go to post-secondary. They're pretty confident in that, and
Yeah.
it can cut back on cost and time because they're not changing majors multiple times. They have the opportunity to do that exploration more in high school.
Yeah. So it's for kids who kind of know where they want to go or who aren't sure. So I might say, I've always wanted to be a teacher. This is an opportunity to try that out, get paid for 3 years during high school doing this, and then say, yes, that was great. I loved it. Or let's try something different. Glad for the experience.
Absolutely.
Fascinating. Okay. That's really good to hear. I know my kids also, and I know you're involved with this program, so I'm going to ask, like, they've gone to these career days or different kind of manufacturing days. Could you just say a little bit? Because I know for me, I hear about it from them, and maybe I'm not getting full picture from them. Maybe they're reporting perfectly, maybe not.
Well, I'll say that we are just extremely grateful for the strong employer relationships that we have here in Elkhart County. The work that we do in student pathways is really to bridge uh, the workforce with education so that we can bring the real world experiences to students. And so, a couple of programs that we operate our manufacturing days, which you just mentioned, Anna, and that is for eighth graders here in Elkhart County. We have had the opportunity for the past 4 years to have roughly 3,000 eighth graders go through manufacturing days with 70 or so local manufacturers. And it's a national program, which is really cool as well, that creates opportunities for students to gain experience and knowledge about careers in manufacturing and to begin to build connections with these companies here locally.
Mhm.
So, a few of our apprentices um, are apprentices at the manufacturers who help support manufacturing days.
Cool.
So, it's really cool to kind of see how, these connections begin to happen once a student is exposed at an early age and then have the opportunity to revisit it when they um, head into high school.
Yeah, to give them, yeah, exposure. That's a good word for, we want them to kind of know their options, know what a workplace is like, know what, it's really helpful. And I will say too, if anybody has comments or has questions and wants to put them in, we will probably have a few minutes. And if you have some specific for Brianna, we can ask that. So um, yeah, the main reason we bring you this from Triple P is to sort of what you're talking about, this linking, like you're linking kids and schools and employers and colleges and trying to help bring those connections. And I think that's helpful for us as parents too, to link to what are those resources. And especially, I know it can be, our children are talking to their school counselors, and just so you know now, Brianna is the face behind a lot of the things you're getting home or things your kids are participating in. Can people contact you directly? Who should we go through? How do you want us to follow up on any of these ideas?
Absolutely. Yes. Please reach out to me directly. My email address is ballen, Allen, at heaindiana.org. Would love for you to send any questions that you have, especially about college and career readiness for your child, regardless of what age they're at. I'm walking through many of these same steps with my children right now. And so would love to just talk more with you about how you can be more involved in helping through that process.
Cool. Okay. So if you have questions, if you have thoughts, just want to know more about how these youth apprenticeships work, I have found Brianna to be very accessible. So um, please write to her and yeah, let us know how that goes. We're all here to raise our kids as a community together. So more we can do of this, the better. I will put that email address and the link to CareerWise Elkhart County right in the comments. So we'll make sure we get that in there so you have access to that. Also, as you know, you can always contact us at Triple P 574-226-0160. Somebody will always get back to you within 24 hours. And then we also have the email address info@triple-p Elkhart County. As with any triple P thing, I encourage you to take a minute to think about what you've heard, any ideas you had, something that got sparked for you, whether it's, ooh, I think I should write to her and find out about youth apprenticeships, or, this would be, I would love to have a conversation with my children about their passions and interests and think about how that will translate into a career. Whatever idea you had, take a second to think about it, commit to it, think about how you'll do that, when would be a good time to have that conversation, what would, how are you going to do that? And may that become part of your future plan, your parenting plan for your children. So we wish you all the best and hope it's a great week and enjoy those children. Thanks, Brianna.
Thank you.